Hey there, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Welcome to another video helping you find that prolific music creator inside of you and stay sane as an artist. For some reason, using a metronome or playing to a click is controversial. It all seems really clear-cut to me. For whatever reason, there's this weird, purist toxicity in the music space about using metronomes and playing to a click. You hear from these, what I would call Puritans, you shouldn't play to a click or a metronome. Not while practicing, and certainly not while recording. Well, they're just blatantly wrong. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and maybe even also click that bell to be notified when a new video's out, because I think you're cool and you should stick around. So to be clear, the choice that I'm offering you in this video title is playing to a click and playing organically by feel. I have three big things that I want to share with you. Three main reasons why you just shouldn't try and do everything by feel. Play to a click, use a metronome, and here's why. Number one is everything is done to a click. Everything. Literally all the professionally recorded music made today is produced with a click. Nowadays, it's even common to take actual audio recorded instruments and quantize them to the grid in order to be perfectly in sync. We're so used to this sound at this point that we don't even really notice it anymore. This means if you want your music to sound professional, you want to be able to play to a click. There's a difference between being a good artist and sounding like a professional artist. One is objective, the other is not objective. And whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing, everything being quantized to a grid, it's neither here nor there. It's the cultural consensus that counts. This is just the way people are used to hearing music now. Rail against it if you will, but realize the limitations therein and account for them if it's something you're really willing to commit yourself to. These days, it's extremely common for people to write music directly into their DAWs or their digital audio workstations, whether you're using MIDI or whether you're recording audio directly. To make this process efficient and effective, because we only have so much time on our hands, well, guess what? You got to be able to play to a click. When you're recording something in on a MIDI keyboard and you're too far off the beat, or you're singing something or recording an instrument like a guitar, if you're too far off the beat and you're quantizing it using one of those functions in your DAW, it's going to be quantized wrong. Depending on what you're setting it towards, it can easily go to the beat in front of it or the beat behind it, depending on how far ahead or behind the beat you are. And that can really mess up everything, because then you have to sit and painstakingly go through each and every hit in the audio recording or in the MIDI and make sure everything's hitting perfectly. Having done that many times in the past, it's time consuming, it's not fun, it's much easier to just be better at your instrument. And it's funny that I say that, because if you decide not to ever use a metronome or not to ever play to a click, you're actually missing out on an invaluable tool for getting better at your instrument. You've heard me refer to a click now in a couple of ways, as playing to a click or a click, and also as a metronome. When learning music or talking about music performance, a metronome is a click that's used to help build up performance skills or musicianship skills. These days you can get a metronome right on your phone for free, and they're fantastic, and that's amazing. But you can also get standalone analog metronomes, which are super cool. A metronome is one of those hack tools that allow you to make a ton of progress really, really fast if you put time into it. If you're interested in being a capable musician, whether you're just doing it for the first time, you're just brushing up on some skills you already had, a metronome is your best friend. Not only will it help you get up to speed quickly by playing slowly, but it also shows you exactly the things that you need to work on. There's no hiding from the click, which is fantastic. The trick is to just do it. It doesn't seem like the most fun thing at first, but there's a contentment to it. If you really want to take music seriously and be a performer or a session instrumentalist or something, oh man, this is just a must. Back in the day, in scores, you would see just things like allegro, or andante, which just kind of mean medium and fast. That's just in Italian, in a different language. But since that's not very exact, it resulted in this kind of spectrum of what is considered andante and what is considered allegro. Even, if the same piece is being played by two different ensembles, it's the same exact piece with the same exact allegro tempo, they could actually be at different BPMs because of that. And not just a little bit different, but pretty fairly noticeably different. But if you're given a BPM, a beat per minute for the click, that's a scientific measurement. A measurement of exactly how fast you need to play. Being able to engage with and interact with that level of accuracy is a commitment to the craft in a very real way. And I touched upon this earlier, but now I really want to get into it. No one can really tell the difference one way or the other. And if they can, it sounds bad. For all of you who claim, whether or not you're a musician or an instrumentalist, that when things are done by organic feel and not done to a click or anything, that you can tell, I don't 100% believe you. And I especially don't 100% believe that it sounds better. If you mean it sounds better than uber quantized, unreal virtual instruments, then yeah, everything sounds better than that. But these days, algorithms and the humanized functions in most DAWs are so good that people can't really tell the difference. All the instruments need to be together to a certain point in order for there to feel like there's some rhythmic cohesion among the ensemble itself. When you don't reach this togetherness, you're below this threshold, let's say, then things sound sloppy and they don't sound, well, together. Like a band that can't keep time with itself. The argument is if you go above that, too far into that threshold, things sound too perfect or too robotic. But I don't think this really exists anymore. I think what people are really responding to is the timbral accuracy of virtual instruments, or how realistic they sound to their real-world counterparts. A huge component of the way an instrument feels is its natural attack and decay with the way it sounds notes. How well a virtual instrument is able to accurately depict that attack and decay determines its ultimate success at reproducing that instrument, and boy, have things gotten super successful in the last few years. Most people don't think about, because it's not really their job to think about, anything other than it kind of sounds together. And that's not even like oh yeah, it sounds together. No, that's like a baseline that people need to know if this is even worth listening to. Now, to be clear, this is different than intentionally playing something ahead of or behind the beat. That's totally different. That's actually quite an advanced thing, and you can't get to that level of skill without some serious training. We're talking about the cohesion of the ensemble as a whole. Once it's together, it can't really be too together. This idea that it's more organic is just BS in my opinion. To me, it's the equivalent of people thinking that really talented musicians sold their souls to the devil. Just my opinion. If you go get something professionally recorded, and even if you try and tell the engineer who was recording you, hey, I want this to be done totally organically, they're still gonna chop it up and edit it to a grid. It's just standard practice. You really have to go out of your way to get yourself recorded without a click, but you run the risk of running into serious problems later in the production, especially if you want your track to sound and feel professional. Okay, if you're recording something really sparse, like just vocals and acoustic guitar, for example, you can do that by feel. You can do something like that for sure, especially if it's something super intimate like that. But the trick is, we mentioned this before, you have to be a really good performer already in order to sell that. And that's like a really specific example. That's an exception, not the rule. If you're serious about being a musician, whether you're a hobbyist or an amateur or want to be a professional, if you take it seriously or you want to take it seriously, a metronome is in your near future. Don't resist. There's no art without hard work, and not all hard work is fun. Though, like I did say, there's a certain joy to that type of work. It's nice. It's nice. It's fulfilling. Promise. That's my hot take on using a metronome. Or I guess on not using a metronome. Don't not use it. Use it. That's the whole point. I think it's invaluable. It has personally been super transformative for me. I think I became double the guitarist that I was before when I used a metronome. I was suddenly able to play all the songs that I was spent just playing the riff over and over again without a metronome. It just didn't do anything. But once I got the metronome, things started happening because it's an invaluable tool. I said all this in the video. You just watched it. If you're here, thank you. Hi. It makes progressing as a musician far faster and far more efficient, as well as allowing you to produce your music and record efficiently. Let's be honest. Let's get down to brass tacks. Some people here just don't want to work on their craft, and that's fine. But don't tell other people the lies you tell yourself in order to justify it. If you're a hobbyist or an amateur and you're just doing this solely for fun and you're not really looking to take it seriously, I'm not talking to you guys. Y'all are fine. I'm talking to the self-proclaimed true artists who purport to take their craft seriously, yet don't use the tools necessary to do so. Not to say that it's completely, has to be done. You can do it without it, but it's dumb not to. I'm gonna be real, you guys. I think it's stubborn. I think ultimately there's a lazy aspect to it because I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what this hand is doing. I think you guys want to feel special and different from everyone else and not do everything the same way that everybody else does. But some things are done the same way because they work, and you don't want to fix what ain't broke. Oops, that's my hot take. Okay, it's pitch time, everyone. You know the drill. I have a free guide. It's called 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. It's got these tips that help you do just that. Go grab. I've clearly devolved into madness. Head to justwritemusic.com to grab your free copy today. There is a link down in the doobly-doo. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and letting me rant at you. Let me know what you thought about this video, about playing to a click or not playing to a click, down in the comments below. I do want to know because, I don't know, I've found controversy there. Maybe you guys are like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of these people that say don't play to a click. Or maybe you're a person who's just like, all you guys playing to a click are just suckers. I don't know, but let me know because I want to know. I want to hear from you. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm Avi from justwritemusic.com. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.